In this example, we're going to be changing the integers into improper fractions and then simplifying. So 2/3 here, we want to add that to 4, but remember that this does not have a denominator of 3. Matter of fact, it would be 4 over 1. If you want to write an integer like that, you can always do that. Remember, an integer is just a number with no fraction and no decimal. You can write them as fractions, and they'll always be written as over 1. So we need to get this denominator to be a 3, and how we do that is we need to multiply 1 by 3, but remember to also multiply the numerator by 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. 2 plus 12 is 14. We keep the denominator of 3, and we have successfully added 2/3 and 4. Now if you're checking your work, this should be 4 2/3, and we can double check by seeing how many times 3 goes into 14 and what our remainder is. So 3 goes into 14 4 times, that's 12. Take away, so we have remainder 2. And that's the 2/3 part right over here. So you could change this into 4 2/3 as a mixed number if you wanted, and so that makes sense with our original problem. 6 can be rewritten as 6 over 1. We're going to need to multiply the bottom by 5 and the top by 5. So we'll change 6 into 30 over 5. Remember, we're not changing its value, we're just changing the way it looks. If you did 30 divided by 5, you'd get 6, so the value is still the same. The reason why we do need to change the way 6 looks is because we have a denominator of 5 here, and when we're comparing two numbers or two fractions, we need to compare equally sized pieces, which is this bottom part. So 30 minus 3 is 27, and that'll be over 5. And that's already in simplest form. For the next one, we just need to multiply top and bottom, or numerator and denominator, by 2. So we've got negative 8 over 2 plus 3 over 2. Negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. And of course, we're going to keep the denominator of 2. And I like to write that negative sign out front. It's totally going to be negative here. We've got negative 4 plus 1.5. If you want to think about 3 over 2 as 1.5, so we have a larger negative number, and we're adding that to a relatively smaller positive number, so we'll have some negatives left over. If you change that into a mixed number or a decimal, it would be negative 2.5 or negative 2.5, so it makes sense that negative 4 plus 1.5 would be negative 2.5. Last one for this example, part D. So we need to multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction by 4. 1 over 4 minus 8 over 4. 1 minus 8 is negative 7. And we'll keep that denominator of 4.